From Upper Michigan Source, this is your Sports on Demand for Thursday, October 18th. I'm Mike Ludlum. A couple of high school football games to end the regular season on a Thursday. One of them, Ishpeming, undefeated at 8-0, visiting Bark River Harris, as the Hematites have already wrapped up the Iron Division of the Westpac Conference. First possession, here come the Hematites. Gavin Sundberg throwing, Drake Sundberg catching, gets a block and gets another block, and 33 yards on the touchdown, and an 8-0 lead for Ishpeming. From the Wildcat, Gavin Sundberg fakes. Good job by the cameraman not to fall for it too much. 25 yards later, it's a touchdown, 24-0 Ishpeming. Broncos have the ball, but unfortunately not for very long, because Ishpeming forces a fumble, and Logan Krulik will recover. 47 yards on the scoop and score. It's 32-0. Yeah, that was still the first quarter, and they added a couple more touchdowns after that. Before halftime, the Broncos' Nick Javerick finds Colton Brunette for a 25-yard score, but the Hematites end the season perfectly, 54-13, and they await their first-round opponent in the playoffs. You can see the playoff matchups Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Fox Sports Detroit. Meanwhile, Negaunee was trying to get into the playoffs. They had a 5-3 record, but the Westwood Patriots were not in a mood to be nice at all. Nathan Beckman, Ashton Bergman, he's going to break a couple tackles near the sideline, and he's going to keep right on running. 68 yards for the score, and the two-point conversion is good. 8-0 Westwood. Beckman will fake into the line and score, and the next thing you know, it's 16-0. To the second quarter, Beckman finds Jacob Adriano so wide open he could have kept running home and skipped the bus ride. Negaunee's night, in a nutshell, probably comes on this play. Jason Waterman looking deep, and it just didn't happen. Westwood goes on to win this one, 44-0, a 7-2 record for the Patriots. The Ferris State football team may have to forfeit a few games because it used an ineligible player earlier this season. Sources confirmed to MLive.com that defensive tackle Dan Perry played in the Bulldogs' first 4 games, including September 22nd at NMU. Ferris officials released a statement on Wednesday that alerted the NCAA of a secondary violation, and they're seeking to get him reinstated. Perry started his college athletic career as a wrestler at the University of Michigan in the 2016-17 academic year. He then transferred to Kent State to play football. Then he transferred to Ferris State. Perry redshirted last season. The NCAA will determine the penalty of whether any games will be forfeited. Ferris State is number 2 in the country right now in Division II after defeating Grand Valley State last weekend. Perry was a 4-time All-League selection at Lapeer High School in the Lower Peninsula. He was a high school state wrestling champion in 2015. The NMU Hockey Wildcats hit the road for a weekend series at 4th-ranked St. Cloud State starting tonight. The Wildcats split their opening series last weekend at Michigan State, bouncing back from a poor performance Friday to win Saturday's contest. Minnesota Duluth is the defending national champion, but Wildcats head coach Grant Patolny says St. Cloud State has a group that's very capable of doing that this season.
I think St. Cloud is the most talented team in college hockey. You know, you might argue that other teams are better, but talent-wise, their high end is very high end. You know, you look at their lineup, their forward group. It's like they have 2 first lines and, you know, a second line and a 3+ line. You know, like there's no 4th liners on their team. Their D-corps is really deep. You know, they have guys that are their extra defensemen are not even playing that would be, you know, in the top pair in a lot of teams in college hockey.
Face-off tonight is set for 8:07 Eastern Time. Saturday's game begins at 7:07 Eastern. Michigan Tech visits Wisconsin. Lake Superior State is idle this weekend. One of the recent inductees into the Michigan Tech Sports Hall of Fame has been able to stay in the sport he loves for more than 4 decades. Steve Coates played 100 hockey games for Tech from 1969 through 73. He's wearing the number 19 sweater. He scored 25 goals and had 29 assists for Tech. He appeared in 467 minor league games in 3 leagues. He played 5 games for the Red Wings during the 76-77 campaign, scoring 1 goal and getting into 2 fights. Since 1980, Coates has been with the Philadelphia Flyers organization, mostly as a radio or TV commentator. So I wondered, what about the Flyers' new mascot, Gritty?
That's a great question. Up until just 2 weeks ago, the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers wasn't existing. In fact, there's only 2 teams in the NHL at that time that didn't have a mascot, the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Rangers. And it was something that the owner of the Philadelphia Flyers, who has now since passed, Ed Snyder, he really didn't want it. He tried it back in 1976. It didn't work. But this time, it's good news and bad news. Some people love him and some people hate him. But the bottom line is he's drawing a lot of attention. I don't think he's missed one late night show. And he's been kind of like an interesting character, as his introduction to Philadelphia has been a very tough one.
Coates won a pair of Mid-Atlantic Emmy Awards in 2000 and 2004 for Best Live Sports Coverage Series. The Flyers visit Columbus tonight while Detroit travels to Tampa Bay. The Michigan Tech women's basketball team will host the first of 2 preseason contests this Saturday against St. Norbert at 6 o'clock. Admission to the game will be cash or canned good donation to the Huskies Food Access Network. The Food Insecurities Committee, formed in the fall of 2014, determined the extent of hunger issues on Michigan Tech's campus, and the survey said the results were staggering. Of the slightly more than 1,000 students who responded, roughly 25% reported experiencing hunger in the previous 30 days because they could not afford to buy food. Turning to volleyball, Kingsford at Marquette last night. Olivia Allen will get the kill here for the Flivers from Catherine Erickson, but the Flivers trailed 19-12 in the first set. Moments later for Marquette, Michaela Graham, Maya King, Delaney Saul puts it on the court, and the Redettes lead by 8 again at 20-12. Next for Marquette, Siler Ruska, Maya King, Alexis Trombley for the kill in the middle of the defense. Kingsford responds. Brooke Kriegel passes to Lexi Roberge, and Maggie Strello gets the point for the Maize and Blue, but they still trail 22-14. Set point for Marquette. And Maya King over to Siler Ruska, and the freshman puts it off the block and the bleachers. Marquette won the first set 25-19 and the match 3-0. Ruska had 13 kills and 12 digs for the Redettes. To the scoreboard, North Dickinson takes care of Forest Park 3-0. It was Ewan Trout Creek 3 and Wakefield Marinisco 1. For North Dickinson, by the way, Sammy Borvin had 18 kills. Elsewhere, Stevenson tops Munising 3-0, and Kearney NATO does the same to Barker over Harris 3-0. Kearney NATO wins the Skyline Central Conference. Manistee, a narrow 3-2 victory over Gladstone. Houghton keeps the Golden Spike, downing Hancock 3-0. And Lance gets past West Iron County 3-2, and Lakeland and Hubble over Jeffers 3-2 as well.